Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is lesson 474. The title of today's lesson is the difference between revise and edit. And this is one that students recently asked again because, both of them mean to look over your work before you would, hand it in or give it in. So what's the difference between revise and edit? So we'll try to answer that question in this video. If somebody wants a screenshot, do it right now. Let's get right to it. When one revises a written piece of work, he or she will review with the possibility of adding more lines. Yeah, you might have thought of a new material that might make it better, so you might add more lines, paragraphs, etc. One may also cut or remove lines, phrases, etc. You might get rid of a whole line, say, well, I don't really need this is kind of useless. Or maybe something doesn't fit with what you're writing now, or you may have just thought that maybe it's not a good line that you think doesn't fit, or simply change some information. One's goal is to make your writing clearer, more interesting, or more persuasive. So you should question your arguments or the strength of your writing or believability as a whole. So when you're doing the revising, that's important. You're looking at your writing as a whole. Does it make sense? Does it sound clear? Is it going in the right direction? Something along that line. You may need to change a part at the beginning to match a later part. So if you've done a lot of writing and you go back and revise it, maybe you thought of some more interesting information later, but you need to add something at the beginning to make it fit. So you're really looking at the whole thing as a whole when you are doing revising. So of course, you would always revise first and you would edit at the end. So after you think you finished everything and you think that it sounds clear, it sounds smooth, all your writing, that's when you actually begin the editing. Okay, let's continue here. When one edits, one focuses more on the small details, such as correcting grammar, if you made any grammar mistakes, misspellings, of course, punctuation, make sure the punctuation is correct, the structure of the sentence, make sure it's not an awkward sort of a sentence. If one questions a fact, maybe in your writing you wrote a fact and maybe you're second guessing, well, maybe I better check that, make sure I'm not wrong on that, because you don't want that. You should do that during editing too. One should double check it in editing, as well as also check for redundancy. Sometimes I even see some professional articles that are sometimes very redundant. They might have a paragraph and then they have another paragraph that really just repeats the same thing you had in the paragraph before. Make sure you're not doing that when, before you're finishing the editing. Okay, with one's writing style. All right, good. And again, I hope you got a better idea here. So the editing should be done later. It's focusing on more the small details. The revising is looking at your writing as a whole, the strength of your writing. Is it convincing? The story as a whole, depending upon what you were writing, or the article as a whole. Okay, and we have 4 examples to just show how we would use it. The writer was asked to revise the article so it did not seem so one-sided. This would be revising because you have to probably do a lot of writing. One-sided, maybe he wrote it in a way that sounded very biased. And technically, writers are not supposed to do this. They're supposed to give viewpoints on both sides. So maybe the head editor, asked this writer to write this over because it sounded like he was favoring one side too much. So he wants him to revise it. Okay. All right, let's look at the second one here. You need to revise this story to make it more suitable for modern readers. Okay. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was an old story in an old book, and maybe they're doing a new edition, something like that. But you're revising it, so you're changing more of the story as a whole. Number 3 here. Everyone's writing needs to be edited for mistakes and facts. Again, so nobody's perfect with this. Probably good writers will probably get most of it right. But, you always need somebody else to correct your writing, because people sometimes, it's easier for people to miss their own mistakes, even if they're checking it again. You should always have somebody else look at it. and the facts to make sure that, you just did, that perhaps you remembered something incorrectly. So sometimes it's better to check some facts just to make sure that you got it before you put it into the actual finished writing piece. All right, and number 4 here, you should edit your own writing before handing it in. Yeah, so you don't want it to look too sloppy. You want to make sure you got all the grammar mistakes and if there's any misspellings or anything along that line. Anyway, I hope you got it. I hope you have a better feel about when you would probably use revise and when you would use edit more. Anyway, thank you for your time. Bye-bye.